Hello, folks. This is Sullla once again. You're listening to another commentary, and this one is the long-awaited start of our playthrough for Master of Orion. So, a couple things before we get started. Master of Orion is a game that came out in 1994. This is not a new game. You're not going to be seeing any fancy graphics here for this particular playthrough. And this game has to be run through DOS. So, those of you who are younger probably aren't too familiar with DOS, but back in the day, before they came out with Windows 95, this is how most PC games were run. So I'm going to run this through DOSBox. Let's go ahead and get started. I have to type in cd backslash mps slash Orion, and then type in Orion again, and we'll get started. Now, one thing I have to mention here as the game gets started, I can never get the sound to work for Master of Orion when I run it through DOSBox. I have tried many times, I can't get it to work. This game actually doesn't have much in the way of sound, period, so you're not going to be missing out on much. There's just sort of ambient sound effects, and there's not really much music in this game. So apologies, I can't get the sound to work when I run it through DOSBox. I can get it to work when I run the game through GOG. I've bought the game through Good Old Games, GOG.com, but I can't get Fraps to work with that. So it's one or the other. Just gonna have to deal without the sound. Anyway, this is the little graphical introduction sequence. This qualified as very good graphics when it came out in 1994. I didn't play Master of Orion when it came out. This is a game that I missed when it was new. I was also only about 12 years old when this game came out, and this game would have been probably too complicated for me back then. However, I did learn about this game from friends online. This game came highly recommended, and I started playing this around 2003, 2004, learned to play the game, and I absolutely love it. This is one of the all-time best strategy games ever, designed by Stephen Barcia. He did a number of games for Simtex/Microprose in the 1990s, but I would say this is probably the best, probably the finest work that they did. Anyway, here's the title screen. It says 1993, but I think it actually came out in 1994. Anyway, so this is a space strategy game. It's turn-based. I mean, it's similar in a lot of ways to Civilization, but I would argue that this is a better pure strategy game in the sense that this game will look complicated at first, but it's actually a very simple game once you start to understand it. At some point it starts to click, and then you'll realize that the game itself is actually fairly simple, and you can focus on pure strategy and not so much on sort of micromanagement. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here on the starting screen you have the choice of different galaxy sizes. They are small, medium, large, and huge. The default is medium. Small maps are, I believe, 24 stars. Medium, I believe, is 48, and then 72 and 96. 96 stars on huge. I don't like to play large and huge maps because they increase the micromanagement a lot, and I don't think that they really add that much to the game. Larger maps tend to be easier in this game because you get more breathing space in the early game. Small maps are probably the hardest. We'll play on the default medium. There's 5 difficulty levels: simple, easy, average, hard, and impossible. I've never played simple or easy. I've done like 2 or 3 games on average, and I've done more games on hard, but nearly all the games I've played have been on impossible. It's a great difficulty. It still provides a strong challenge, even for expert players. I would say I win about 60 to 70% of the time on impossible, and I still can't win all the time. I mean, maybe with load and maybe with save game abuse I could win, but that's beyond the point. So anyway, impossible, a lot of fun still, and then you can play from 1 up to 5 opponents. The game is designed to be played against 5 opponents, and it starts getting really weird if you start playing against only 1 or 2, so we'll go again with the default options here, the default 5. Next up is the race picking screen. So here we go. There are 10 different races in Master of Orion. They're pretty well balanced, all told. I'll just talk very briefly about each one. Humans are sort of your standard race. They're very good at trading. They have very good diplomacy. The humans are actually they're one of the stronger races in this game because diplomacy is very important. Mercian, the kitties, they are the weakest race in Master of Orion. Mercians get a bonus to attack. Their ships deal more damage in battle, but Master of Orion's an economic game, so direct combat bonuses are generally the weakest stuff in the game. And the Mercians tend to pick enemies with everyone and rarely amount to be much of a power. The silicoids are the most interesting, the most unique race in the game. Maybe someday I'll do a playthrough with them because they're completely unique. They are mineral-based life forms. They eat rocks. They don't eat food, so they have a lot of weird stuff associated with them. They can colonize any planet at the start of the game. They grow slower than other races, but they don't have to pay waste cleanup costs. Anyway, they're very unique, and I could say more about them later, but they don't play like any of the other races. Sakra, the lizards, they grow really fast. Their population grows very quickly. They're an average race in terms of strength. Cylons, by the way, Cylon with a PS, the little pun there in Master of Orion. The Cylons are the best race in Master of Orion. They are the best researchers in the game. They research faster than anyone else because this is an economics-based game. If you can research faster than anyone else, you can do everything better than everyone else. You can eventually design ships that beat anyone else. You can have planets that produce more production than anyone else. So being a research/economic-based game, the Cylons are the best at research, so therefore they're the best at everything. They are the strongest race in the galaxy, and they're as close to overpowered as this game has. Alkari, space birds, they also get direct combat bonuses. Their ships are harder to hit. They have more maneuverability than other ships. They are a little bit below average in terms of strength, but they are definitely a lot better than the Mercians. They are also a hated racial enemy of Kitty. Cats and birds don't get along. Cats and lizards also don't get along. The Sakra don't like the Mercians. So not only are the Mercians really have weak abilities, but they're also hated by everyone else. So you can see why they're not very good. Klakons, space bugs, they get production bonuses. They stand up planets at the start of the game faster than anyone else. This makes them a very, very strong race. They are second behind only the Cylons in terms of strength. They are very, very good. I'll have to show them at some point, not in this game, but they're very, very good as well. Anything there, if I were to make a Civ comparison, they're kind of like being expansive or creative in Civ 4. That is, they get up and running faster than other races. And in any 4X game, any strategy game, that is a very big deal. The Bulrathi, giant space bears, they're a lot of fun. They get a combat bonus when invading planets. It's, again, sort of any direct combat bonus is relatively weak in Master of Orion. They're fun to play around with, but they're not one of the stronger races either. The Meklar, very interesting. They are the Borg, essentially. They are cybernetic robots. They get production bonuses. They can build more factories than other races. This is a useful bonus, but it's almost exactly canceled out by the fact that they are the worst in the game at planetology. They are very bad at researching anything that involves waste cleanup, anything that involves increasing the size of your planet. So their racial bonus is almost exactly canceled out by their racial penalty, which means that they tend to be average overall, but they're a really interesting race to play. And then finally the Darloks. The Darloks are the best spies in the game. They're very good at stealing technology. The downside to this is they are hated by all other races. They have the worst diplomacy in the game, and this actually does matter a lot. I have one of my worst winning rates with the Darloks because everyone hates them. That means you end up in lots of wars you don't want to fight. And the only way you can get out of that is to steal more technologies, which means even more people will hate you once you start stealing their tech. So I find the Darlock to be one of the weaker races in this game. Anyway, this being a standard playthrough for Master of Orion, I'm going to show the human race. They are the most basic of the races. They're also quite strong. They're one of the strongest races in the game. We'll go ahead and you can choose your color. I'll go ahead and take the default blue. You can rename your leader. I'll just leave it as is. You almost never see your leader's name in this game. And you can rename your home planet if you want. So again, I'll go with all the default options. Like I said, the humans are one of the stronger races. I will have a better chance of winning with them. Alright, so here we go. This is the main screen in Master of Orion. This is the main screen. I'll go through and explain what this stuff does down here. Game, this is where you can save and load. This is where you can, well, pretty straightforward. Design, this is where you design ships. You design your own ships in this game. I'll say more about that later. Fleet is where you can see your ships. You can start, I'll go ahead and scrap these designs that I don't have any ships of. At the start of the game, you begin with two scouts and one colony ship. You always start with 2 scouts and 1 colony ship. The map, let's take a look at the map. Let's see, we are down in the sort of the south/southeast corner. You can see who our opponents are. We do not have Cylons in the game. That's a big plus. You don't want to have Cylons in the game if you can avoid it. The Cylons are very strong. They're the strongest race. We do have Silicoids, though. That could be trouble. The Silicoids do very well when the AI plays them. They tend to colonize a lot of worlds. And then we've got, what else? Ecology, Darlock, Sakra, and Klakons. That's a fairly typical draw. Not too high in terms of the enemy list. Not too bad either. Could be better, could be worse. So that shows us the immediate area. Races, this is the diplomacy tab. When we make contact with other races, we'll take a look at that. Planets, this is your list of all your different planets. This is like the F1 screen in Civilization 4. Shows all the planets and then a lot of economic info. I'll come back to this later. And tech is your research screen. We're not doing any research yet. I'll explain what this screen does later on. And here's your big next turn button. Alrighty, so what do we want to do? What I want to explain is what this system over here does, because this is your planetary screen. You can click around to other stars. See, we haven't explored these yet, so there's no data on them. But this is your planetary screen. So I want to explain sort of how this works as a way of going on and then explaining how to play this game. Alright, so all planets have a planetary class. This one's Terran class. That's good. That's the best of the different planetary classes. Whoops, that's on the map screen. You can see all the different classes here. Some planets you can colonize right at the start of the game, the ones that are in green. You can colonize these planets at the start of the game. The ones in red, you have to research additional technology to colonize them. So if I scout out a dead world, I have to research up to dead technology to be able to colonize there. It's pretty neat because it's not like in Civilization you can settle any part of the map at the start of the game. But in Master of Orion, you have to research more tech. Some planets you can't colonize at the start of the game. Your home world is always Terran and always is pop 100 max. Always starts that way. Here we have the number of pop. We start with 40 pop. In Master of Orion, at the start of the game, you begin with 50 pop unless you're on hard or impossible, and then you start with 40. It's a little penalty for high difficulty. Bases, I'll talk about bases later. These are ways that your planets to defend themselves. You can build missile bases. Production, this is how much production the planet's building. That production then gets assigned according to these 5 sliders down here. The first one is for shipbuilding. You assign production here to build ships. For instance, if I can move the production here and I'll build scouts. If I want to build more scouts, I can build 2 scouts per year. That's another interesting thing about Master of Orion. The production is not discrete. This isn't like Civilization where you build a knight or you build a musket or something like that. If you have enough production to build more than 1 ship, you'll just build 2. Or 20, or 1,000. Late in the game, you can build 1,000 small ships in 1 turn sometimes. And then those ships stack together. Kind of one of the interesting things about this game. Anyway, so the first slider is for shipbuilding. The second one is for defense. This is how you build missile bases. They're very expensive at the start of the game, so we don't want to build them. It would take 12 years to build 1 missile base. That's very wasteful. Industry, this is where you build more factories. So let me explain about that. If you click on this tab here, it will show you a little bit more information. You can see a little graphical representation of the planet. Here's our yellow star. We've got our colony ship in orbit. We have our 2 scouts. And down here it shows us a graphical representation of our population and our factories. You always start with 30 factories on your home planet. The way that factories work is at the start of the game, you can have 2 factories for each population point on your planet. So planet size is 100 max. We can have up to 100 people. Because you can build 2 factories for each person, we can have up to 200 factories on this planet. More technology allows us to increase the planet's size and allows us to build more factories. You can get up to eventually 7 factories per population point, but that comes much later in the game. So at the start, we've got 40 people and we've got 30 factories. What this means is that most of the population on this planet is not really that necessary. Again, 15 population can work all 30 factories, so the other 25 pop aren't really doing that much. They're kind of excess, in other words. They're kind of not really that necessary. Now, where does this production number come from? In Master of Orion, every factory produces 2 population. Every population point produces 1/2 a point of production. So 30 factories, that's equal to 30 production. Actually, they refer to it as BC, billion credits, so I guess I should call it that. So 30 factories equals 30 BC, and then we have 40 population. Each one produces 1/2 BC, so that's 20. 30 plus 20 equals 50, and that's where we get this number. So we're producing 50 BC, 50 billion credits per turn. Now, we don't get to use all that because if you'll notice the effective production here, the effective production is only 38 BC, and that's because we are paying 23% maintenance costs in ships. You do have to pay for your ships. So if you build a gazillion ships, then you can cripple yourself in maintenance costs. So effectively, this planet only produced 38 BC per turn. Then it gets allotted by these 5 sliders. We can allot it to shipbuilding, as I said, defense, industry, tech. This is how you do research. You can just, if we want to assign it to technology, we'll produce 22 research points. 22 BC just gets converted directly into 22 research points. And then finally, this thing called ecology. Your factories don't come for free. Your factories produce pollution. So you have to spend money on ecology in order to clean up that pollution. If you don't spend enough, it will go down here. It'll start to say waste, and pollution will start to pile up on your planets. You don't want that. So you need to, what you want to do is you want to set the slider so it says clean. And there are technologies you can discover that clean up more waste. So you have to spend less. Like right now, we're wasting about a third of our overall production just on factory cleanup. That's not good. So we want to research more techs to solve that. Now you can spend more in ecology. If you spend more in ecology, you can directly grow population. For instance, we'll get an extra population point here by spending more in ecology. There are times to do that, but the start of the game is not one of the times to do that. What we generally want to do is we want to build more factories. Factories are essentially investing in your growth curve. We want to get as many factories. We want to get up to 200 factories because right now we're producing 50 production, 50 BC per turn. If we max out the planet, 100 pop, 200 factories, we'll be producing, what is that, 200 and then 100 by 2. We'll be producing 250 BC per turn. So, the planet will be 5 times better if we max it out. So we want to do that. All right, now, what else do we have to do on this turn? Well, we want to look at the initial galaxy, and we want to send out our colony ship, and we want to send out our scouts. Let's see. Right now we have 2 planets within 3 parsec range. We have 2 green stars, so we want to send the colony ship to one of these. At the start of the game, your range is 3 parsecs. You can only send ships that are within 3 parsecs. So the only 2 ships that are in range, 2 planets that are in range are this planet, the 2 green ones. So we're going to have to send the colony ship to one of these 2. Now the question is, which one do we want to send them to? Because it'll extend our range. Probably want to send them to, probably want to go here so I can reach these stars. One thing to keep in mind is enemy AI, the enemy races, they can only start at yellow stars. So there's probably an AI at one of these stars. There's probably one over here. There's likely 2 of them here. There's probably one here, here, and here. There's probably AI races at each of these 3, and then there's probably either 2 or 3 in this cluster over here. So we want to try to grab these worlds over here and these worlds over here. And then see, I'm trying to see, let me check out the range on these ones over here. Like that's 6, that's 5, 7. Okay, so I can still reach these planets without colonizing. Okay, so I'm going to send my colony ship over here then. Let's go ahead and do that because I don't need extended range to reach these planets. Okay. Now, one thing about now remember how I said you can only colonize planets that are 3 parsecs away? That's true. However, if you check out my fleet here, the scouts start with something called reserve fuel tanks. Scouts are able to go and check out planets that are more than 3 parsecs away. The reserve fuel tanks give you another 3 parsecs of range. So the scouts can go to planets that are up to 6 parsecs away at the start of the game. And of course you can research more range tech, so they can go to planets that are further afield. I want to block off these planets from the AI, so I'm going to send my scouts over here to these 2 planets. And that will be a way of blocking the AI if they start here, or if they start here, or here. If I run scout blockades on these planets, they won't be able to colonize them. So I'm going to get an initial blockade of these 2 planets. Now, of course, I'm scouting blind. I have no way of knowing if this is a habitable planet. This could be uncolonizable, but that's part of the fun of the game. We will have to just go over there and find out. We have no idea. So let's go ahead and end turn. I'm going to do this a couple times. By the way, note that Sullla, the planet, has grown between turns. We grew 2 pop, went from 40 to 42. We also built 2 factories. That means that now, well, hold on, I should go back to this. The calculation, let me grab my calculator here. So we have 32 factories, so 32 plus 42 over 2, that's 21. So 32 plus 21 is 53. And if we check out our production, it's, well, apparently they give you 1 bonus production, but it's now 54. So we have more overall BC to spend on this planet, which means that now we build 2.4 factories instead of 2.2. And yes, it does track to a 1 decimal place. So you're not that's not getting wasted or anything. All right, so we got to end turn again. We're waiting for our ships to get there. And we're waiting for this ship to get there. Now we're up to 2.6 factories. Production's gone up again. And let's cross our fingers for something habitable. Yes, we've got a habitable planet. Excellent. Arid 65. This is a very average planet. Not too big, not too small. Planets can run in size from base 10 up to base 120. 65 is right in the middle. And we can colonize this, so this is a good result. I'm very happy with this. Build a new colony. Now we get a little graphical effect here of our ship landing and our flag being planted. This is your one and only chance to rename a planet. If you want to rename it, you can do so here. Once you hit enter, you can't change it again. But I'm fine with the default names. You can do a naming theme if you want, but I've played the game enough that I just use the default ones. Okay, now if you check this out, notice that our production has jumped way, way up. We were building 2.4, 2.6 factories, now it's 3.6. Why did it go up by so much? If you check out the planets, it's because we're no longer spending money on that colony ship. The colony ship is very expensive at the start of the game. Remember how that was eating up like 23% of the budget? So now Sullla is able to build more. And in fact, I can dial down the ecology spending too. So now, you notice I'm able to build factories much faster. Okay, but before we do that, what we want to do is we want to build scouts. We want to be able to put scout blockades over any planet that's in range. Now, I've sent these 2 scouts to the planets that I thought were most in danger. Now what I want to do is build more scouts and send them to all the other planets that are in range. I want to block them off from the AI and prevent them from scouting these planets. So I can build up to 4 scouts right now at this current level of production. However, there's a little trick in this game. It's just one sort of little buggy thing. I'm going to go ahead and design a ship. I'm going to design another scout. Design my scout 2. This is exactly the same specs as the previous scout. So watch, I'll go ahead and select it on fleet. Note that it's exactly the same. I'll explain what all this stuff does later, but basically exactly the same. No weapons, reserve fuel tanks, but note that the default scout that you start the game with costs 10 BC to build. If you redesign the exact same scout, it costs 8 BC to build, so it's 20% cheaper. Why is it like that? I don't know. I think it's just a little bug in the game. And watch, I can do the exact same thing with the colony ship. Watch. I'll clear this and I'll design a colony ship. Watch this. And if it's the exact same thing with a colony ship, the default colony ship costs $591. A redesigned colony ship with exactly the same stuff on it costs $570. Again, I don't know why that is. It's a shame that this is in the game. It's just like a little bug. But it's in the game, so you kind of want to take advantage of it. Anyway, let's scrap the old colony ship design, and we'll scrap this design too. I was just using that as an example. Okay, you only get 6 ships design slots, and this is sort of an artifact of the game being so old. You can only have 6 ship designs in place at one point in time, so you do have to be a little bit careful about designing ships. You can't just design ships willy-nilly. You need to have sort of like 2 or 3 designs and stick with them. Okay, so I can build 4 scouts, but I can build 5 scout 2s because they're cheaper. So that's the deal. Let's find out how many scout 2s I actually need. So planets within 6 parsecs. Okay, I need 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's in range 2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not in range. 8. Okay, I need 8. And then I'll need 1 for Sullla and Regulus. Okay, so we'll build 5 this turn, and we'll build another 5 next turn, and we should be good. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and do that. Note that the initial scouts are getting close. Okay, that's the production screen, tells us what we built. Alrighty. Let's start assigning these. Again, you want to send them first to the planets that you think are most at risk of being colonized by the AI. So we're going to send the first one there. I'll send them to the frontline worlds first. And let's see here. I'm sending them one at a time. There's no reason to send more than 1 scout to a planet. Scouts have no weapons on them. I mean, you can design ships with weapons, but if I put a weapon on these ships, then they won't be able to carry the reserve fuel tanks. So that's the idea. Okay, we got that planet. And let's go to this one over here. Okay, 7 turns. It'll take so those will be moving out. At the start of the game, I should mention speed on these ships. These ships are warp 1 on the design. Hold on, I'll pull up the design. They're warp 1. Warp 1 means they move 1 parsec per turn. So it takes them a while to get anywhere. Again, you can research faster engines. Warp 2, you move 2 parsecs per turn. Warp 3, 3 per turn, etc. Alrighty, so let's build more scouts. Ooh, we found a habitable world here. Okay, so this is a desirable planet to grab. Ocean, pop 70. That's a nice planet. We'll definitely want to grab that. And I'll keep the scout there in order to protect our claim. Again, you can scare off AI ships by putting a ship over a system, they'll have to bring a ship with weapons to chase it away. They'll have to bring a ship that actually has guns on it in order to chase that ship away. Okay, so planets I haven't sent scouts to go explore yet. Okay, so there's one down here at this blue star. In terms of the way the stars work, the yellow stars are the most likely to have a good planet on them. Next is it green or red? It's either green or red is next. Green and red are next after that, followed by blue, then white, and then purple has the lowest chance of having a good planet on it. And I think these are all too far out of range. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to colonize. I have to either discover more range tech or colonize more planets to reach them. I'm hoping that this planet will have a planet, habitable planet, and then I can colonize it, and that'll give me the range to go and explore these stars. All right, so this is looking pretty good thus far. Now we click next turn. Oh no, there's something else we have to do. Okay, I want to explain something about this game in terms of how population growth works. This is another sort of basic to the game. Note that the population's been growing each turn. We've been getting 2 or 3 pop per turn. Planets in this game grow the fastest when they're right in the middle of their growth curve. It's a normal distribution for those of you who have worked in statistics. When the planet's at 50 pop out of 100, it grows pop really fast. It grows about 3 per turn. If the planet's at, say, 5 pop, it grows very slowly, and if it's at 95 pop, it grows very slowly. So your planets grow the fastest when they're right in the middle of their normal distribution, right when they're about half pop. Between about 25th percentile and the 75th percentile, they grow the fastest. Right now on this planet, we only have 37 factories. That means that we only need about 18 people to work those 37 factories. Everything over and above that is basically not necessary. Those people aren't really doing that much. So what we can do is we can send some people away from Sullla, and we can send them to Regulus, which is just getting started. Regulus has 2 pop, no factories. It's producing 1 production per turn. So I guess that's why I think they add 1 to the production each turn, so that if you're at 0, you're at least producing something. Anyway, so what we want to do is we want to send some people over to Regulus in order to get this planet started. By sending pop from Sullla to Regulus, the planet will get started much faster. So let's go ahead and do that. What I like to do is I like to send enough to drop the home planet down to 50 million each turn. So we'll send 3 this turn, and I'll send 3 for the next couple turns. I'll probably send 12, 3, 3, 3, and 3, and that'll get it to about 15 out of 65, and that should be enough to get it going. So yeah, let's do that. This is the first turn. Go ahead and click next turn. Oh, we found another habitable world. This is very good. These 2 planets, I think, will be the key, because notice there's this big gulf of dead space here. If I can get these 2, I will be able to get all the planets down here. So this is my goal. This is my goal, to get these 2 planets. They're both habitable. They're both good worlds. That's my goal immediately, is to secure these 2 planets. I will see what I can do. If I start seeing AI scouts buzzing around, I might send a ship or 2 up there, a military ship. Alright, so that's 6 parsecs, but if I can colonize this, if I get range 5, I'll be able to colonize both. We'll see. Okay. Alright, so notice that we're back up to 53 again. We grew from 50 to 53 between turns. So let's go ahead and send off 3 more pop. That's now 6 sent total. Next turn. By the way, and here are the transports in orbit. You can see them flying towards. This is how you invade enemy planets, by the way. You just grab your population, and instead of sending it to your own world, you send it to an enemy world. That's how you invade. We'll likely see that later in this game at some point. Okay, 3 million more. And by the way, note that it now says waste. That's because we're no longer, with those 3 people gone, we're no longer spending enough on waste cleanup. So we have to put another tick into ecology spending to prevent waste from building up. Okay, oh, we found another. Okay, see, it looks like it worked out okay. Remember I had the choice to send the colony ship to this planet or this planet? This one was size 65, this one was size 45. Both habitable. This would have been fine. I mean, this wouldn't have been disaster or anything to colonize this world. But bigger is always better in Master of Orion. Bigger planets are always better. More pop means you can build more factories, means you can build more stuff. Okay, so that's a good result. This is nice because this means now this is only 3 parsecs away. I don't need to research range tech to colonize this world. I can hop over here. I do think I'm going to need range 4 to reach this, though. Let's see if I can turn on the grid. What is the grid? Is it Control M or is it Alt M? Okay, this is the grid. Alt M is the grid. This is 5 parsecs. It puts 5 parsec grids on this map. I think that this is 4. From Neptunus to Tari, I believe, is 4 parsecs. So I think I'll need range 4 to get this planet. If I had the choice of range 4 or range 5, I'll probably take range 4 because I think that's all I really need to spread out and expand. All right, anyway, Regulus has already gotten the first couple pop transfers. Note that it's up to pop 7 now. It grew 1 pop point on its own, and then it got 3 from Sol, so plus 4. There's still, what? There's still 6 more coming, and I said I wanted to send 1 more. I wanted to send 12 total. I would send fewer for a smaller planet. I would send more for a bigger planet. All right, so now we just need to sit back and watch the scout reports coming in for these other planets to continue to fan out. Okay, we found our first hostile planet. This is Inferno. It's also size 15. This is not a particularly good planet. Of course, you always want planets. More planets are always good. Anyway, so we won't be able to colonize this until much later in the game because it's Inferno environments. So we won't be able to get that. This one, oh, this is a nice planet. This one's toxic, so we cannot colonize this either, but it's rich. Mineral rich. Rich planets are very good. Research points from industry are doubled. That means double speed factory construction and double speed military production, so you build ships twice as fast. This is a good planet, and it's in our back line, so we'll have a good chance of getting this. We just need to make sure the silicoids don't slip in and take it. Again, the silicoids' unique ability is they can colonize all hostile planets at the start of the game. If we're lucky, the silicoids will be way up here or way up here, and they won't be nearby. If the silicoids started here, there'll be pressure on this planet. I'll have to defend it with ships. Okay, we found another habitable world. This one's small, but we can colonize it from the start. That's good. Size 35. Size 35 is a bit on the small size. This planet will need some terraforming technology to become strong, but it's in the back lines. It's very safe. It's a good location to be sitting at. Okay, so I'm not going to send any more. Regulus still has 6 more popping coming. That'll get it to, what, it's 17 or 18. That's about 1/4. And once you get to 25%, the planets grow pretty fast. So what I want to do now is I want to grow factories. I want to max out Sol as quickly as possible. We're at 55 factories, 53 pop. I want to try to max this planet as quickly as possible. Because if I try to build colony ships right now, hold on, let me design colony ship. Just to showcase this. Colony. Again, I'll explain what all this stuff does later. Basically for right now is I just have stuck a colony base on here, onto this ship. I'll explain this ship design in a future video. Alright, so I can build a colony ship if I want, but it'll take 12 turns to build the colony ship. That's not very good. That's a long time to build a colony ship. If I build factories instead, and I max out the planet, I can build colony ships in 4 turns. I can build 4-turn ships. So it makes more sense to build factories now, and then build colony ships much faster later on. This is essentially investing in the economy to put production into the industrial thing. All right, what turn is it? One downside to the game is it's hard to see what turn it is. The only way you can see the turn is to go into races and then status, and that's where you can see the year. You start in 2300, so this means we're on turn 9. And this will show us comparisons with the other races, but we haven't met any yet. So we're on turn 9. It'll take about 13 or so turns to max out Sol. It should max out around 23, 23, or 23, 24. Should be about when it maxes out. So we're going to hit next turn a lot, in other words. That's the basic idea right now. Ooh, this is a nice planet too. This one may be difficult to claim though, because it's a long way out there, but size 90 is very good. We'll try. I mean, I'll try, but my first focus is getting these 2 planets, because if I get these 2, I'll get everything behind it. But this would be a nice planet to get. I just don't know if I'll have the resources. Desert 35, this would be nice, but again, this is a little bit further afield. This will be tougher to claim. Still, I'll make a play for it. If the AI doesn't take it, I will take it myself. Again, try to get anything you can. More planets are always better in this game. There's no maintenance costs or anything like that in Civ 4 terms. So far, we still haven't seen an AI scout over any of these worlds. This one's toxic. This is hostile. This is it's pretty big for a hostile world. Usually you don't see as big as size 50. A decent planet. Again, hopefully the silicoids are not down here. It would be tough to stop them from claiming that if they're in the area. All right, so growing, we're at 5.9 factories. Next turn. Ooh, wow, this is size 10. Size 10 is the smallest you can get. Also hostile. Size 10 tundra. Not a hugely desirable planet. Not too high on the scale. So let's go ahead and check out what we found. Again, we found most of the habitable worlds are over on this side of the map. So again, I'm going to be concentrating expansion more over here. I've got 4 worlds that look pretty safe. There might be, hopefully there's more colonizable worlds down here. If I could get these ones, let's see if I could get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I could get like 8 planets, and then the potential of getting another 2 or 3 after I get more colonization tech, that would be a pretty solid base to be moving forward in this game. And there's one rich world. We haven't found any poor planets. Poor planets are the opposite of rich. They build industry and ships really slowly. Anyway, so for right now, we just have to hit next turn a bunch of times. 6.8, 7.4, 7.9. Factory construction still going up, 8.3. So the early turns you can go by pretty fast. 8.9. And again, I know I'm not doing anything, but this is generally speaking the best way to play. Oh, we found somebody. We found a Klakon ship. Okay. This means that the Klakons are at one of these 2 planets. One of these 2 is the Klakon homeworld. One of these 2. All right, so Klakons have showed up. And oh, wow, they showed up with a colony ship. Nice. So we have managed to chase their colony ship away because we had a scout here. Again, in Master of Orion, when there's combat, you go to a separate tactical combat screen. It's like sort of like a chessboard where you can move around. So they've sent a colony ship to this planet, and they would colonize this planet, except that we have a scout here. Our scout has no weapons, but unless their colony ship is armed, we can chase their colony ship away, and that will delay their colonization of this planet, which of course is good. The longer we can delay them, the better. So this is a good sign. This is why you build those scouts and blockade worlds at the start of the game. Anyway, I have no weapons. If this colony ship is armed, it can chase the scout away. But this early in the game, their colony ship will not have weapons on it. So watch. I'll move forward and he'll retreat. So we've managed to successfully chase the Klakons away. Now, this doesn't mean that we have contact. We still have no contact with the Klakons. We need to be in range of one of their worlds in order to make contact. So we've managed to chase them away. Again, if this is their home world, it will be very difficult to stop them from claiming this planet because they're just too close. This planet, so that's why my focus is more over here. This planet, that's hostile. This one's hostile, so they'll have trouble getting there. This is probably too far away. Maybe, I mean, if they can colonize up here, they might be able to make a play for it. But anyway, so yes, this is still the crucial planet as far as I can tell. That's the one I think is going to be most important. Anyway, up to 10 factories per year. That means we're getting fairly close. 127, population 79. Note that, again, the growth slows as you start to get closer to max. So anyway, we still have about 6 more turns before this is done. So let's keep hitting next turn. Next turn. All right, what are we looking at now? 148. We're doing 11 per turn. Let's see, it's going to take about 4 more turns. Okay, so next turn again. Alrighty, note that it now says max. This means that I will be building more factories than the population can work. Again, remember, each pop point can work up to 2 factories. I've now got 85 pop. That means they can work up to 170 factories. We'll be over that next turn. However, building more factories than you have pop available is not the worst thing in the world, because when this planet grows pop, they'll just grow onto those factories. So I will keep building more factories. I will do something else, however. Because the pop growth is so slow, as you get closer to max, we're getting close to 100, the pop growth slows down. What I'm going to do now is I will send pop from Regulus back to the home world. Again, check out Regulus, 22 factories, 41 pop. We actually only need 11 pop to work that factories. All the rest is sort of excess. So what we can do is we can send pop back to Sol. And I think I want to send about 10. I think if I send 10, that will be just about enough to max out the colony. So we're going to send 10. Again, now we have to reassign spending. We want that to say clean. So in 3 turns they'll hit, and I'm assuming that Sol will be right around pop 90. That 10 pop will take it up to right around 100. So let's keep an eye on this. Regulus, again, now I've got to adjust spending. One of the places where there's a little micromanagement. You just don't want to be wasting spending in Ecology. Up to 86. How many factories do we have in here now? 170. Okay, so it'll probably take 2.5 turns of factory construction to finish out. All right, 88. Again, there's 10 pop coming. How many factories are we at now? 184. This will get it very close to full. And let's check out and see what we've got now. The Klakons are back. They've sent their colony ship again, and I will chase them away once again. But again, it's only a matter of time until they show up with an armed escort. All right, so we're at 99 pop. and 197 factories. So almost perfect. I guess I should have sent 11 pop from that other planet. Still, this is fine. It's pretty hard to hit it exact. I'm satisfied with that. Okay, what I want to do now is, let's see, I want to spend one turn checking what I have in terms of tech. One of the interesting things about Master of Orion is there is not a fixed tech tree. In a game like Civilization, you have a tech tree, and the tech tree is the same in every single game. This is not the case in Master of Orion. There's a set, the tech tree is more like a tech ladder. There's actually 6 different fields that you assign research in. Computers involve, they involve a number of different things, not anything we're going to use at the start of the game. Construction involves factories. You can build bigger ships, force fields, shields, all sorts of stuff involving shields. Planetology is more of the economic side of things. This is how you can grow your planets to bigger sizes. This is how you can colonize some of the planets that are hostile at the start of the game. Propulsion, faster engines, increased range, weapons. Most of your weapons are in this tree. Now, again, what you have in each tree is different from game to game. Sometimes text will be there, sometimes text will be missing. You have to adapt based on what's in the tree and what's not in the tree. So what we want to do on this turn is we want to figure out just what's in the tree. We want to find out what text we actually have on the first rung of the ladder. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to finish up constructing factories here. So I'm going to measure out 30 BC and put that into the industry field. That will max out the factories on this planet. And then I'm going to assign the rest to research points, 115. And for this turn, because I'm going to inject 1 turn's worth of spending into research, I'm going to do the same thing in Regulus for 1 turn. Note the way that this works. Due to the slider system, production on military, production on economy, production in research, they're all interchangeable in this game. Exactly the same. So you have to determine, when do I want to build ships? When do I want to do research? This is not like Civilization where research and production are 2 separate things. They are the same thing in Master of Orion. So you will have some tough decisions to make when you're playing this game. Do I spend my production on defense? Do I spend it on defending my empire? Do I spend it on pushing for another critical tech? Those are the kind of choices you have to make in this game, and it makes for some interesting stuff. All right, so let's equalize the spending. Early in the game, we want to check out spending in a couple fields. Computers, weapons, force fields are not all that necessary at the start of the game. What I want to do is I want to see my options in a couple different fields. I want to see what I have in construction, I want to see what I have in planetology, and I want to see what I have in terms of propulsion. So let's go ahead and check that out. I'm going to turn off spending on a couple of these fields. This is how I usually assign things. 50% to planetology, 1/3 to propulsion, and 1/6 to construction right at the start of the game. And then based on what I see, I'll adjust this in different ways. We'll have to find out. So we're going to allocate research, and let's find out what's in our tree. And then I'm going to get started building colony ships. Okay, so we chase that clock on away. Okay, we have no choice in construction. In construction, you get 2 choices at the start of the game. Improved Industrial Tech 9. This reduces factory construction costs. At the start of the game, factories cost 10 BC. By researching this, they cost 9 BC. So this is a nice little tech. This will increase the rate at which you build factories by about 10%, roughly. I think it's more like 11% or something, but whatever, it's about 10%. The other choice is reduced waste 80%, reduces the factory waste, the amount of waste you produce, so you can spend less on ecology. That's not present though, it's not in the tree, so we have no choice, we must research improved industrial 9. Now here in planetology we have 2 choices, and this is good because we have the 2 best options in planetology. There are 3 choices on the first rung of the planetology tree. Improved terraforming plus 10, increases the population of planets by 10 million. This is nice. Instead of a max of 100 on our home world, we can increase it to 110. That means 110 pop, 220 factories. Very, very nice. This is also a dirt cheap tech, only 120 RP. Very, very good. One of the best techs in the game. We also have improved eco restoration, which is also an amazingly good tech. This is another waste cleanup tech. It eliminates 3 units of industrial waste for a cost of 1 BC. At the start of the game, you eliminate 2 units of industrial waste for 1 BC. So basically, we increase our factory waste cleanups by 50%. These are both awesome techs. I'm going to research them both. I'll start with improved terraforming plus 10, then I'll research improved eco. My favorite route through the planetology tree is to research both of these techs right at the start of the game. So this is quite lucky to get both of them. There's a third tech, colonize barren worlds. colonize the first hostile world. It's generally not that useful, and in fact there are no barren planets around me, so that's not in my tree this time, and it doesn't matter. We'll take improved terraforming plus 10. And we have range 4 or range 5. We have our choice of both. Again, range 4 allows you to move up to 4 parsecs away. Range 5 allows you to move up to 5 parsecs away. So you start the game with range 3. You got your choice of range 4 or range 5. Now I can research either one, but I believe I only need range 4 to get the key planet I want. So I'm going to research range 4. Note that range 4 is much cheaper. It's about 1/3 the cost. So I'm going to go ahead and research range 4, and I believe that will get me to the planet I want. If I'm wrong, I'm going to look very foolish, but I believe I only need range 4. So Sullla has maxed factories. Now it's time to start building colony ships, and they take 4 years. So that's a pretty good rate there. And I'm going to use Regulus to do research right now. Regulus won't be needing more factories just yet because it'll be sending some of its population off-world to support the new colonies when they get founded. All right, let's check out that text screen now. Again, the little light bulbs light up when you get closer. Note that planetology is already almost halfway done because I'm allocating a lot here. And I'm going to go ahead and keep allocating that because planetology is very important. And I really need that in order to spread out, in order to build my economy basically. All right, so my hope is that once I get here, this will be range 3. And then I will be able to expand here. I know it's 5 parsecs now, but I think it's only 4 from this planet. And if that's not the case, I'm going to look very silly. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I can always spread out to more planets. Like this one's only range 4. This is also only range 4. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I can always research range 5 as well, but that would be somewhat wasteful. When I get range 4, I'm going to be able to send scouts to these planets. So what I need to do is I actually need to build some more scouts. And I'm going to do so out of Regulus. I'll build 1 scout per turn and send them over here. Again, note that it costs me research. Instead of 34, it costs 8 BC to build the scouts. So there's the 8 BC. 34 points per turn down to 26. Alrighty, let's get going. Again, I don't need range. I don't need extra range to colonize this world. So I can colonize this without researching any range tech. Then I'll be able to colonize this planet. It's 4 parsecs from Sol, but it's only 3 parsecs from Tari. So while I'm waiting on that range tech to come in, I can build colony ships for these 2 planets and get them going. Okay, Regulus, your 2 scouts. Send these 2 scouts to this world. And then I'll be able to send, I'll be able to then scout those planets out. Okay, 3 turns on the colony ship. Another scout 2. Send 1 more because there's 3 planets over there. We're getting there. Up, Clacons again. Hopefully their colony ship is not armed. They will send an armed escort here soon. Again, I just don't think I can stop them from taking this planet. Now, I could try to build a ship. I could build a ship, arm it with weapons, and send it up there. But I just don't think that I'll be able to stop the Clacons. Because see, this is 6 parsecs from me. I have to put extended fuel tanks to send anything up here. It's obviously not. It's within 3 parsecs for them, so it's just dubious that I'll be able to stop them from colonizing that. So I'm not really going to make the attempt. I just don't think it would be that. I don't think it would be that useful. Okay. Anyway, we're 1 turn away from the colony ship. Check out our planets tab. Ships are eating up almost nothing in the economy right now, but as soon as I finish that colony ship, watch, it's going to eat up a lot of my costs. Planetology is in the percentages. When you get close to discovering a tech, it goes from being a full light bulb into a percentage. This means that we have a 10% chance right now to discover improved terraforming plus 10 between turns. The one mistake here is there's a bug in the game. The chance to discover the tech is actually double what it shows here, so it's actually 20%. I don't know why it's like that. It's just a bug in the game. 20% chance. If we don't discover it, it'll continue to go up each turn until we do. And we did not discover the tech. Okay, so we built another scout, and we've got our colony ship. All right, let's go ahead and send that colony ship over here. The only one in range, and we'll build another colony ship right on to the next one. We're in a race to colonize as many planets as possible right now. Okay, planetology is at 18%. I'm going to dial this down because it's already in the percentages and start spending more on that range tech. And I also don't need to keep building more ships, so I can allocate. I've got enough scouts right now. I think I've got enough scouts. Where else would I go? There's no more planets to scout out over here. I mean, this is much too far away. Yeah, it's 11. Much too far away. Up here, 9, 9, 8. Yeah, that's out of range as well. Okay, I don't think there's anything else that would be in range. Is this 8 as well? Yes. Okay, so I don't need more scouts right now. Alrighty, let's keep going. These turns are a little bit slow. Wow, we still haven't discovered we still haven't discovered that terraforming tech. Now we're up to 46% chance each turn. Oh well, it'll pop sooner or later. And there we go. So we discovered improved terraforming plus 10. Again, we can increase the size of our planets by 10 million. Costs 50 BC to do so. You can automatically assign your planets to do that. I will do the terraforming manually to explain how to do that. And now we can see what's available at the next level. We've got improved eco. At the next level, we have our choice of controlled tundra, improved terraforming plus 20, or death spores. I will take controlled tundra at that next level, but I want improved eco restoration first, as it's a very crucial economic tech. Somebody's at 6 planets. Oh, the silicoids are already up to 7 planets. That's not good. Nothing we can do about it, though. That means that they, well, we haven't seen the silicoids, so I would guess that they are probably at one of these 2 stars, or they're over here. I feel like if they were at one of these 2, we would have seen them by now. So the silicoids are already out and expanding. Note that I have 2 planets, they already have 7. That's what the silicoids do. It looks like they'll be a thorn in my side this game, as usual. Alright, I'm going to let this colony ship finish, and then as soon as it's done, I will terraform Sol. Regulus does not, Regulus I do not need to terraform just yet. I'll be fine. So hopefully that propulsion tech will finish soon. It's getting closer. Looks good. And we're about to colonize this world. About to colonize Tari. Alrighty, so that'll get colonized between turns. Here we go. This is your only chance. You only get offered 1 chance to build a new colony between turns. Yes, we do want to colonize Tari. If you say no, you have to wait to the next turn to do it. Just due to the way that the game's programmed. Alright, 2332. We've got our 3rd world. Hopefully the pace will pick up from here. And now the all-important thing, is this 4 parsecs? Yes, it's 4 parsecs. Yay! Hooray! Neptunus is only 4 parsecs away. So, that grid, I did get the distance correctly. I would have looked really stupid if that had been 4 parsecs. Okay, so that's good. Range 4 is already in the percentages, and we'll be able to send the colony ship up there as soon as that pops. So this is great news. Now the scouts, again, by colonizing this planet, now we have range to reach these planets. So let's go ahead and send out the scouts. Find out what else we have over here. One of the things you have to do in this game is you have to figure out what planets are important to prioritize and what planets you can safely, sort of let slide for a bit. I've identified these 2 planets as the key ones to go after, and I've really been bending my efforts in favor of them. Meanwhile, I said this planet, even though it's a better planet, is one I don't have much of a chance of getting. So, I mean, those are the kind of things you have to think about when playing this game. Okay. Alright, now let's see. Okay, I will terraform Sol while I'm waiting for that tech to come in. That will work just fine. Okay, now Tari. Tari has no pop. Tari is, starting from nothing, so I'm going to send some population from Regulus over here. Unfortunately, it takes 6 whole turns to get over there. But not much I can do about that. I can't really send it from Sol. Sol needs to be building colony ships. So let's send 10 million to get it started. Oops. There we go. Alrighty. And again, the way that you know that you can terraform is it'll say pop 100 plus. That'll let you know that you terraform. And I will show how to do that in a little bit. Okay, so finish that colony ship. Boom. Now I've got the colony ship done. And I will go ahead and send the colony ship to Tari while I'm waiting on that tech to be discovered, because it's only 2 parsecs. Actually, I should have relocated it there. I'll explain relocating in another video. In the meantime, let's terraform Sol. So it costs 50 BC to terraform the planet. So let's go ahead and do that. 58. We'll just make sure we have enough. This will terraform the planet. And then I'll spend the rest in factories, because I'm going to need more factories now. Now that the planet can go up to size 110, I'll need 220 factories. So I'll go ahead and spend that over there. Regulus is still spending on that. 5%, so we're at 10% chance to discover range 4. Let's go ahead and continue doing this. All right, so Sol should be... All right, Sol is now maxed out. I don't want to spend an ecology anymore. Let's try and... All right, I need 12 more factories. Let's measure this out. You can do the calculations. Early in the game, I tend to calculate things because early in the game production is very scarce. I don't want to waste it. Okay, so the way this works, we need 12 more factories. Again, max factories would be 220, 2 per pop. Factories cost 10 BC per factory. So to build 20 factories would be 120. And so we'll measure it out down there, and now we'll max factories, and I'll put whatever's left over into ecology for +2 population. And now we're up to 20% chance to discover range 4. So Sol will be close to maxing out now. So there we go. Sol's reached its maximum, 220 factories. Perfect. And now I will go ahead and, let's see, finish out. Let's max the planet, +4 pop. Let's go ahead and do that, +4 pop, and I'll put the rest into the reserve. So I'm going to spend in ecology. I'm going to grow because I want to have the planet maxed on population. There's no point in having factories sitting there unused. I want to make sure that they're, being put to good use. And I'll spend the rest in tech. So we've got a 40% chance to discover range 4. Hopefully we'll discover it between turns. That would be perfect, because then I can send my colony ship up there. Let's find out. Cross our fingers. 40% chance. Yes, we got it. Yay! Range 4. Just what we wanted. Allows ships to move up to 4 parsecs. Perfect. All right, so we have our choice of range 5. That will just increase the range by 1. It's not that useful. And we don't have a lot of choices in the next tree. Normally you have your choice of 3 things. You have warp 2. You can move 2 parsecs per turn instead of 1. You also have range 6. I probably would not want to research range 6 because I have range 4. And then, but they're both missing. The only one that's here is inertial stabilizer. This is a special. It's useful in combat. It's actually a pretty nice special, but right now it's not too useful. Still, we have no choice. If we want to move forward up the tech tree, we have to research inertial stabilizer. So we have no choice. Oh, that's not good. No planet on Volantis. That's a bit of a bad draw. This is the worst possible result. No planet there. Can never do anything useful at that spot. Oh well. Such is life. I'll go back to building more colony ships. Alrighty, now we want to send our colony ship up there to Neptunus. We want to try to secure that. So far, I have not seen any AI scouts over this planet, so that's some good news. It looks like this gulf of space here is protecting us from whatever AI races are up there. Anyway, so that's a disappointment that there's nothing there, but nothing we can do. Just dead space, nothing there. Okay, so more factory. I need more colony ships. I still got a lot of planets to colonize here. I want to send the next one here to the jungle planet. And then after that, I'll probably look to try to grab one of these two in the west. Again, I still have not built a single military ship. This is all Farmer's Gambit, but I don't need military yet, so I'm not going to build it until I need it. And tech. Oh, the other thing is propulsion now is not a priority. Dial propulsion way down. Our inertial stabilizer is not useful at all. So I will just leave a tiny little trickle in there. Well, 2 ticks. And focus on construction and planetology. Improved eco and improved industrial 9 are both very good economic techs. Those will be helpful. Definitely. Okay, so I'm going to play up until I hopefully colonize this planet. So hopefully that should be in 4 turns. Hopefully. Oh, wow, Darloks. We found Darloks on this planet. That means the Darloks are at one of these 2 worlds. Interesting that we saw them here and not at these 2. Anyway, oh, wow, a colony ship. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is the hugest break of luck I can think of. We reached this planet literally the same turn as their colony ships. Wow. That is good luck right there. One of these 2 planets is their home world, and we chased away a colony ship literally the turn they got there. Oh, no, never mind. Not the turn they got there. They couldn't colonize it because it's toxic. Never mind. Okay. I was thinking this is this awesome coincidence that we just got there in time to chase them away. But no, actually they can't colonize it because it's a toxic planet. So they were already there, but they couldn't colonize it. Anyway, we've chased them away now. They will have to come back. But that means that this planet now is in trouble too. Because if they had range to send ships here, that means that they have range to send ships here. It should be the same 5 parsec distance. So I'm going to need to send I will need to send some ships up there to these 2 planets. I need to get the colony ships built first. Then I'll see if I can build some laser fighters to go up there and protect these planets in case the Darloks come calling. Alrighty, interesting times. Already got some action going on here. Just have to hope that we can secure these planets. And this is Toxic 25. Okay, not a great planet, but it's in the back lines. Hopefully we can get it later. Still, these planets over here have been a bit disappointing, I have to say. No planet at this world. Toxic and toxic. Oh well. They're in the back lines. Hopefully I'll be able to get them eventually. All right, 2 turns, 2 turns. Cross our fingers and hope that we can secure that planet. Regulus still on research. Good. Yeah, we're getting close on these techs. Okay. Keep going. Nothing happened on that turn, and we should colonize this turn. Yes. So we were able to get to Neptunus first. Yay. This may bring us in contact with the Darloks. It might if they have range 5. It looks like it did. Yep. So this brings us in contact with the Darloks. Destroyed on sight. That message, what is that message? I think that means that they're xenophobes. They're either xenophobes or aggressive with that greeting message. Alrighty, so now we can see how many... Oh, we've at the Klakons too. Okay. Nice. So that means we can get some diplomacy going with these races. Ooh, and we've got the copyright protection. Okay, hold on. I have to look this up. I do not know which one of these is off the top of my head. Hold on 1 second. I have to... I have a little picture that shows which one of these is the one I have to click on. Okay, so... DOSBox. This one is Skyhawk. Okay, this one is Skyhawk. All right, sorry, I had to look up the copyright protection for a second there. Alrighty. So this is, let's see, let's check out the map. Oh, this is actually not such good news. The Darloks and Klakons are both pinned in here. That's actually not the greatest news. That means that they are going to be under quite a bit of pressure to expand, and that expansion might be going through me. This is also not good because it means the Silicoids, the Alkari, and the Sakra are going to be very large indeed. They're going to have the entire rest of the map over here to play around with. Alrighty, well, this will be a good place to stop. We will come back next time and try to deal with the diplomatic side of things. Oh, wow, this is Colden. Wow. Colden. I've managed to chase them away. This is their home world is right there. Okay. So, if I can keep the AI away from these planets, I'll be in good shape. If I can't keep them away from these planets, it will be, as we like to say, interesting times. Interesting times. So, I will go ahead and save the game here. And we'll pick up here next time. This is a very interesting game. I'm looking forward to this one. Go ahead and save this as YouTube. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys, some of you enjoy this retro game. And I'll see you again later. Take care.